Welcome to Distracted, the podcast with Angela Lockwood, the place where you will find practical brain-boosting strategies, expert insights, and real-life stories to help busy brains thrive in the age of distraction. Let's go. Welcome to Distracted. I'm Angela Lockwood. Thanks so much for joining me in this episode, which has really come about actually through mindlessly scrolling on social media. And I will put my hand up. I was doing it. Yes, I sometimes find myself locked in that cavern of mindless scrolling, looking at things that really aren't helpful to me at all. But what I'm going to have to say is that at least this episode has come out of one of my moments of mindless scrolling. What I noticed is obviously I do a lot of searching of health and well-being content online. And so the algorithm has been developed all around my searching habits. So I get a lot of information about health and well-being, which sort of isn't a bad thing until it becomes so overwhelming. Now, I'll just stop there for a second. If you are interested and you're like, what in the world is an algorithm? You might be interested in having a read of my ebook called The Attention Algorithm. And you can head on over to angelalockwood.com.au/attention, ATTENTION, and you can download the free ebook, which explains all about how the algorithm works in really simple ways, because I'm definitely not an IT guru. But what I do know is that the algorithms that are on our phones, on our devices, are shaping the way that we view the world. And for me, definitely this episode has come out of looking at my own algorithm and thinking, okay, hang on a minute. Have we made health, looking after our own health and well-being, way too complicated? Let me just say that again and have a think about it. Do you think we've made looking after our own health and well-being way too complicated? Why I ask this question is through my mindless scrolling moment, I noticed that I was getting all of these ads popping up around weight loss and, shakes and I don't know, all these other, this expert that was talking about because of my age, perimenopause and, all of these other tools and strategies that we could be doing to look after our health and well-being. And it was interesting because a couple of them, and this is probably what's what's shaping my algorithm a bit, is that I do look at some of them because I'm really interested sometimes in the strategy behind the selling. Being a business owner, I really make sure that I try to stay ahead of some of those trends. But I also am really interested in the health and well-being messages that are being sent through these ads. And I also am really intrigued sometimes by thinking, I wonder what I clicked on to make that ad pop up. Because sometimes they're related and I can see the link. Other times it's just feels like it's totally unrelated to what I've been searching for. But because I do sit on some of the ads and I do look at them with absolutely no intention to buy it or to click on the course or to go through the buying process, because I've sat and I've looked at it for a few seconds longer than I have other things, then of course the algorithm has decided that must be what I'm interested in. So I'm very well aware of what I'm creating for myself. But it's interesting, right? Have you ever thought of that when you are scrolling on your phone? Have a look at the type of ads that are popping up. Have a look at the suggestions that are coming up for you. Are they based on your interests? And are you aware? Are you really aware of the things that you're searching for and why you're getting all of this information coming to you? But I slightly digress there a little bit because today I wanted to talk to you about the concept of, do we actually make our health and well-being way too complicated? Looking after ourselves, are we making it too complicated for ourselves? And I think the answer is absolutely yes. Because if I clicked on every ad that popped up in my feed and decided to act on all of it, then of course what would happen is I'd probably never do any of it. I would maybe I'd purchase, I would start the process, and then I'd either become really overwhelmed because I would be completely distracted by the next big thing, by the next breakthrough, by the next influencer that's telling me that, that this is the new thing, or all the testimonials that have popped up where people have, done this sort of strategy, or they've done this practice and implemented it in their life, and now they're so much fitter, or they've lost weight, or they're so much mentally clearer. They're more productive, they have better relationships. Like, these are all really enticing promises, and transformation promises that are really engaging. Like, who doesn't want to be fitter? Who doesn't want to feel healthier? Who doesn't want better relationships? Who doesn't want better mental clarity? I know I want all of those things. So I get drawn in sometimes with thinking and just observing. I'm really fascinated by this mentality of all of these different products and all of these different things are the perfect fit for me. Because that's what the ads promise, don't they? They go, this is exactly what you need, but they have no idea what I actually need. So just have a think now. Like I said a moment ago, think about your feed and just see what's popping up. Look, for you, it may not be health and well-being. That is definitely my slant and my interest. It might be, I don't know, dog kennels. It might be gardening. It might be holidays for you. Whatever it is for you, you will see those ads pop up. But when it comes to our health and well-being, are we making it really complicated for ourselves in a way that's setting up barriers for us to actually achieve optimum health and well-being? And there's lots of factors that come into this thinking. And I don't want it to just to be that it's become complicated because of social media algorithms. It's not because of just that. Of course, that's a huge impact for us. It takes our attention, and it distracts us so many times when we're looking for other things. But I know for me, I've had this really interesting relationship with health and well-being over my whole life. I was an athlete when I was younger, and quite an elite athlete. So being fit, being healthy has always been a part of my world. It's always been within my psyche. I know that eating well relates to being healthy. I know that exercising relates to being healthy. I know that having good sleep relates to being healthy. But I also am very well aware that looking after my mind and my mental health is also really important to keeping me healthy. But what I've noticed over time is that these waters have been grayed quite a lot. Like, when I was younger, I would look at my training and I would listen to my coach, and I would do the things that were handed down to me from my parents. And a lot of us grew up like this way before social media, way before the internet, that the information we had access to was through books, through our coaches, through our family, and through what we were learning at school. And some of this was current. A lot of it was outdated. A lot of it was outdated. And I look now at the currency of information that we have available to us, and it's so readily, the most current information and research is so readily available to us. Somebody could do, a university could do a research yesterday, that's published, and today it's available to us. Excuse me. Whereas in the past, when you think about it, if a university had published a paper, it would only be in those professional circles. It wouldn't filter out to us straight away. It would filter out to us eventually. So herein lies a bit of a conundrum that we're in, because if we've got the access to information and we have readily and available access to current information, then it can almost feel like we're always playing catch up. It can almost feel like we're going, oh, now what? Now what's the next thing? Now what do I have to do? And I know I feel that sometimes, where I'm like, oh, I thought I just understood that. I thought I nailed that. I thought that's what I'm going to do. And now you're telling me I shouldn't do it because there's been other research that's been done. And so what we end up doing is we're not really sure about what the health messages are. We're not really sure around what is actually right for us. And I know, looking through, as I've sort of grew up as an athlete and then became an adult who was working in the health and fitness industry, being an occupational therapist. I would also be doing personal training, boxing instructing, and a whole range of other fitness programs. I was an Oz Swim instructor here in Australia, teaching people with disability how to swim. One of my jobs was at a hockey centre. Another job was teaching children how to swim in our own swim school. So my life has always been around health and well-being and being active. But my relationship with health and well-being evolved as I got older. And of course, as I had children, what I had to do for myself and what I needed to eat to nourish myself and my babies also changed. And now, as I'm sort of getting older, a lot of my injuries are creeping up on me from what I had when I was so active when I was younger. If only we knew now what we knew then, hey. But I've had operations on knees. I've got torn discs in my lower back and a whole range of injuries that are really rearing their head now as I'm getting a bit older. And so my nutrition has changed because of that. My ability to exercise, I now have had to shift that as well to adapt. But also my age. And I mentioned this at the beginning that, for my age being sort of that perimenopausal age for us women is, my body's changing. My ability, what I can eat is changing. What I need to be doing exercise wise is changing. And so it's an interesting thought when I look back over my life, and I think I've always been very active. I've always been really mindful of my health. This year alone, I've decided that I won't be drinking alcohol anymore, and that was a very conscious decision for me because I want to look after my brain. Having a head injury when I was younger and having neurological conditions genetically in my family, I decided that my brain really needed to be looked after. So alcohol was a really easy option for me to cut out. But interestingly, I've stuck with that, and I've really found that very easy to do. I wasn't a big drinker anyway, but I found that really easy to do. Now, the question that I have for you all is, are we making health and looking after our well-being way too complicated? And I think just looking back over my experiences and with clients that I have, it's particularly through my executive coaching programs and through my workshops where we're talking about health and well-being, we're talking about energy. What I notice is sometimes we can get really stuck with knowing what the best thing for us to do is. What is the right thing for my body and my mind and my health to be doing right now? And because we then try to jump on Google and then we try to do all the research ourselves and we do try to look at the best way for us on our own, what happens is we become really overwhelmed. Is we go, well, I don't know, that guy on that ad, that guy says that I need to do no cardio. Whereas that ad says that cardio is the best thing for me at my age. Or do I need to be lifting weights? Should I be only eating, low carbs? Should I be doing low carbs? Should I not have dairy? And what I often find with when we're having conversations about optimal energy and optimal health and well-being, rather than being inquisitive and exploring, but also listening to our own intuition about what we know is good for us, what we know makes us feel well, we actually get ourselves stuck. It's almost that classic analysis by paralysis. Remember that saying where we do so much research and we look into things so much that it sort of keeps us stuck in our ways, that we decide that we become paralyzed by the information that we don't actually do anything about it. And if that's feeling a little bit like where you're at the moment with your health and well-being, that it's confusing, no matter what age you're at, no matter what stage you're in, each age and stage has its own challenges. Each age and stage has its own needs. But I reckon sometimes that overcomplication can be a reason that we not only stay stuck, but it also keeps us comfortable. So it keeps us in a state of going, well, this is sort of okay. I don't mind coming home eating a packet of chips, or I don't mind not getting up, early in the morning before I go to work to go and exercise. I know that I should, but no, I don't really need to. It's all a bit too much effort. And what happens is we feel guilty. I know I've felt guilty many times throughout my life where I think I wanted to be doing more, but I wasn't. And when I reflect on that, it was often due to not knowing what I wanted to do, not listening to my body, getting stuck in trying to find that next perfect thing for me. What is the thing that I really need? Now, I must just press pause here for a second and just say that if you do have health challenges that you are struggling with right now, or you know that there's something that there might be something that's happening in your body, even in your mind through your mental health that you know you need support in and you're not getting it. For whatever reason that be, it might be stigma, it might be not knowing where to go, what service to go to. It might be that by reaching out, it means that something's going to have to change in your life. It might be by, reaching out that the reality of your situation right now and the behaviors that have led to it, it might be a little bit confronting. What I really encourage you to do is to think, if I don't change, if things don't change for me, am I happy with that? And I don't mean comfortable with that. I mean happy. Does that bring you joy? Does that make you feel excited that if your health and well-being does not change from where you currently are, you stay exactly the same, will that make you happy? And whatever happiness looks like for you. Now, let me tell you why I ask you that question. And one of the big game changer books that I read this year was Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. And if you haven't read that, it's a really fantastic book. And in that book, it had a question that was really it really made me look at my health and well-being very, very differently. As a woman in her 40s, there's lots of changes going on, right? And there's that sense of mortality as well, of looking forward and thinking, how much time do we have left? Am I in midlife? Do I have, am I blessed enough to be in midlife? And looking at also aging parents and hearing the conversations from them about what's happening to their own friends. This question really helped me think about simplifying my own health and well-being. And that question was I guess it was more of a thought that was posed, that if you were to stay how you currently are, so the reality is how I currently am in my health and well-being will be the best it will ever be if I make no changes. So just think about that. If you make no changes to your life, to your lifestyle, to your health, to your well-being practices, where you currently are will be the best feeling that you will ever have. You will be at your most optimal health right now than you ever will be. Now, if you make no changes, okay, that your health might, if you're living a very well-rounded, very healthy life, then your life practices will sustain. But eventually, what will happen as we age is things slow down, things decline. And it's a very beautiful, natural process that we all go through as we age, is that our bodies, they start to wear out. They start to change. But it was that sort of thought and that questioning of, am I happy with where my body and my mind is at right now? And if it's going to get worse, does that align with what I see for me as I age? And does where I'm at, does that actually align with the actions that I want to have and the activity I want to be doing from this point on? And for me, it was a huge, huge wake up call, because if this is the best I'll ever be and it's going to go downhill, that was a little bit scary for me. It was a little bit because, I've got injuries that do stop me from doing things. And I felt like my health was not at its optimal best at that point in time. So reading that for me was the big wake up call. And I hope even me just bringing this topic up today is a big wake up call for you. That it may not be that your health is really poor. It might be that just the realization that I have got some small areas that I can tweak. And a big part of it, yes, is getting knowledge. So educating yourself on what is good for you, what is the right thing for you, but educating yourself too on what is the best thing for you as an individual. Now, if you listened to our last episode, I interviewed the wonderful Philippa Ballette, and she's a functional medicine practitioner. So you might want to jump back and have a listen to that, because we do actually explore a lot of concepts around health and what we can do to optimize our health. It's a fantastic, she's really clever cookie, and it was all about beating body burnout. So if this is really a topic where you're like, yeah, and you've hit a raw nerve here, then jump back to the last episode and have a listen. But knowledge is one thing. The hardest part for us when it comes to our health well-being is working out not only what's good for us, but strategies that we will actually use. So the best strategy is one that you'll use. So there are lots of different ways that you can look after your health and well-being. Of course, I often talk about bookending the day, the habits that you create in the first 5 minutes when you wake up and the last 5 minutes as you go to bed. I also talk a lot about pressing pause during the day, the importance of nature, the importance of being outside, and a whole range of different strategies that I talk about, not just here on Distracted, in my book Switch Off, in my programs that I share in workplaces. So a lot of the strategies we know. And I find that what we do is we often get stuck in either trying to do them all, or we get stuck in not knowing which one to do, so we do none. So my encouragement for you today is just think about, do you make your health and well-being too complicated? Have you simplified it enough to go, right now, what I need is this? And you know what that is. It might be you need to be more active physically. It might be, I just want to go outside and walk. I need to be in nature more. It might be that you need some more mindful practices, so to slow your brain down. It might be that I really need to look at my gut health issues. So there's some things going on in my gut I really need to sort out. It might be that your sleep is a bit chaotic, that's a little bit out of control. So have a think now, what is that one area of your life? And just one, there might be more, but let's think about the one that is pressing more for you right now, the one that's impacting your life more than any of the others right now. Then have a think, what is it that's stopping me from taking action on that? So what is it that's stopping you from taking action on that area of your life right now? So let's take if it is just getting up in the morning and going for a walk. You know you really want to do that. You love it. You feel great when you do, but you're just not consistent. So have a think and go, well, what is it? Why am I not doing that? Is it because I'm not sleeping well? Is it because I don't have that accountability buddy to go walking with? Is it that it's been a bit chilly? It's been a bit cold, so I don't want to get out of bed? Is it because you don't have your your clothes ready, sorry, your walking clothes ready in the morning, so you're fumbling around waking the house up and everyone's getting cranky? So have a think, what is it that's stopping you from going out and doing that walk? And hopefully that answer that comes through will be really obvious to you, and you'll be like, well, that's actually quite an easy solution. And if it is about, I just don't want to get out of bed early in the morning, if it's important enough to you, then you might just have to stick with it for a few mornings. Yes, get an accountability buddy that can walk with you, have your partner wake you up, make sure that your alarm is on a recurring alarm so you can't hit the snooze button. There's lots of different ways that you can ensure that you get out of bed. But if the desire is big enough, you will do it and you will find a way to do it. And this is for anything that you want to do in your life. So if you are thinking right now, and I get it, I have actually made this really complicated. I know exactly what I've got to do to just reshift my focus and reshift my health and well-being. And that's the one thing I want to do. Just choose one thing. And from today, from the moment you listen to this, recommit to yourself, your health and well-being, and go, that's the area I really want to be working on, and I'm going to do it. Write it down somewhere, share it with somebody, and then just start. And it doesn't mean that there's going to be difficulties. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. I can remember Michelle Bridges, the amazing fitness guru and business icon here in Australia. I remember once reading something that she had written, and it was about the first 5 minutes. If you can just start the first 5 minutes, particularly when it comes to exercise, then what will happen is you will kick in, you'll start to feel the benefits. And once you're moving and you're going, then you're on your way. It's just that first 5 minutes that makes it really difficult. So whether that is your exercise, whether that be eating, whether that be through relationships, just reaching out to somebody, just get started. And then what you'll find is the momentum will keep pushing you through. So what is your one thing? What's the one thing you're going to do that you know it'll be so clear to you after listening to this? There's one area of your life that you really want to focus on. What is it? And what is your next best step? So if you want to share this with me, I would love to know, what have you committed to? What is your one thing? And head on over to Instagram, DM me on that, DM me on Facebook or on LinkedIn, and share with me. Say, hey, Ange, I listened to your episode about, do we make our health too complicated? And this is my commitment to myself. Let me be your accountability buddy. I will make sure that you stay focused. It's sort of my thing. And I'll make sure that you stay on track. Okay. So let me know, what is it that you have committed to after listening to this? Share it. Tag me at Angela Lockwood _ on Instagram. And just let's do this together, right? There's no point in just listening to a wonderful podcast episode going, that was great information, and then just doing nothing with it. I really want you to feel empowered to be able to make the best next step for you. And if you don't know, if you're not sure what the next best step is, it might be, what I need to do is reach out to my GP. It might be, I need to reach out to my functional medicine practitioner. I need to reach out to my masseur. I need to reach out to a health professional. It doesn't mean that you have to do this all on your own. Taking that next best step is the best step for you. Thanks so much for listening here on Distracted, everyone. You'll be listening to me, Angela Lockwood. Please share with me, share with your friends, share with your family and your loved ones. What is your commitment that you're going to make to yourself? And let's make this super simple. Our health and well-being does not need to be complicated. Let's make it simple, because the best strategy is the one that you're going to use. All right, everyone, until next time, all the best with whatever your next best step is. Please share this with somebody who you know might be struggling at the moment, who might need that little tiny kick up the bottom. Share this with them, and you never know, you might just shift them into a new phase of their own health and well-being. All right, until next time, everyone, stay healthy. I'm Angela Lockwood. Thanks so much for joining me here on Distracted.